Hi, this is Jared Polak, founder of Entre Results, author of Entre Balance, author of Entre Business, founder of Entre Results Academy, back for another fantastic podcast today. We're going to continue in the area of mindset. The mindset is critical for all areas of life. The mindset is critical for success in business. The mindset is certainly helpful to have a more beneficial and productive life. And so what I want to do is just cover 4 things you can look at to improve or to increase your mindset. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. Number 1 is to do best case, worst case, or most realistic case scenario. So for example, if you have a fear, so your mindset is a fearful mindset about a specific activity. So I'm going to use the example of you have a fearful mindset about making sales calls. You don't like to pick up the phone and call people to help them benefit from your product or service. That gives you great trepidation. You start sweating, you start getting nervous, you start pacing, you start doing everything you can to avoid those calls. Or you just start making up excuses of why it's not important, even though you know it is important. And again, I don't know every single industry, whether that's the exact right thing for your business, but for many people it is. So what you want to do is come up with the best case, worst case, and most realistic case situation. So best case, realistic situation, if you make these, say, 30 calls. If you make 30 calls, the best case, realistic situation, meaning this could very likely happen, and it is best case, would be you instantly get several new clients from making those calls. And the people you talk to that don't buy, you actually learn a lot and you have a good experience. So that could realistically happen. That's best case scenario. Worst case realistic scenario, okay? Worst case might be you call and you get mostly voice messages, don't get a hold of everyone, and the few people you do get a hold of, they're kind of rude to you or just sort of like wanting to get off the phone with you and don't give you a very good vibe. And you don't sell anything. Okay? Now that would be the worst case realistic situation. Now, the most realistic situation would be that you make these calls, you get some voice messages, you maybe get one person that's annoyed and you get a hold of someone, maybe you make one sale. Or maybe you get one lead that's going to lead to a sale later. And so you've moved the needle. That's the most realistic situation. And so as you go through this exercise, you can realize that, the worst case situation really isn't that bad. Best case situation is good and can happen. But most realistically, you're going to make some calls. And you're just going to get some results, but maybe not out of the world results, but you'll get good results and it's still worth it. And so as you go through this exercise, it helps us overcome the fact that a lot of times we always think about the worst case, unrealistic situation is that we're going to make 30 calls, that every single person is going to yell at us and tell us that they hate us and they hope we die and that, they swear at you and, make fun of your mom or whatever. I'm kind of making this up as I go along. So anyway, that's number 1 in terms of overcoming limiting beliefs. Number 2 is something that, it's specifically for people with anxiety, but it can go greater than this. I learned this when I had a panic attack many, many years ago, and I had great amounts of anxiety about, doing anything like driving in a car, riding in an airplane, anything with elevators. I had this high level of anxiety. And one thing you can do to get out of that anxious mindset is to create a mood log. And basically you, on a daily or many times throughout the day, in different situations, you actually rank the level of your anxiety in different situations. And so maybe we can go back to this sales call. Maybe you have high anxiety on these sales calls. You actually rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how high the anxiety is. And sometimes when you go through this exercise, you actually learn that your anxiety is not that high or your fear is not that high. And so what this does to help improve your mind